Can you guess what time it is, folks? Yep, it's time to get this thing finished and one of these VLAs stuck on here. The intention of this video is to attempt to get this thing fixed. Right. Hi guys, Ralph here. So we've got as far with the ZX81 as I need to put a keyboard on here. Ta-da, looks pretty. Although it's bending in the cold in here, so I need to get that on pretty quick. I want to do a memory upgrade, which is inside here, but I can't get anything because I can't get a signal. So I'm taking off the ULA and I'm going to put on bought from ZX Renew, and I'm going to, it's cold in here today, so I'm getting condensation from above. Forgive me for that. A VULA or XULA, yeah, the VULAs. There's basically a guy in New Zealand that sells these. It's a VLA81. Sells these. I get these from ZX Renew in the UK because he buys in bulk, brings them over. It's a lot cheaper and greener to get them over from that way anyway. So what I need to do, pull out the VLA, the ULA, and then fit this that way around because you've got the notch on the board. This is looks very complicated. They even got the switch array on there, so I need to play around a little bit to hopefully that'll work. But I've got the composite mod. We want to take that out eventually to put memory in, but at the minute we're holding on because of that. So I have got that and we will fit that. Less waffling. I'm going to pull this out, put that in, and see if I can finally get a picture. Then we can continue with this. Now, with the VLA81 installed, simple as pull out, put in. But the pins on this, I've made it easier by just bending the legs in a little bit, which is basically all you do is put the whole chip on its side and just gently bend all of the pins on the either a chip. If it's a little bit too wide, just grab the whole lot and just gently roll over with the pins. They will all come in a little bit, not over the top, otherwise you'll break them all off. Those are quite sturdy because they're actually just header legs, so it's really good with it. So that installed, power supply ready. This has got to work. This has to work. I'm gonna set you up over there so you can see this as I switch this thing on. Right, it's not the best angle, I understand, but let's see what happens. The television's on the right channel. Do hope this works. I spent enough on this and effort to get to this stage. So we'll plug in. You might not have to see this so well, and there's 4 switches actually on the chip itself. So I don't know what I'm doing. On. Right. I'm actually missing the instructions of what to do. I have got it on the other computer in the house. The computer which is here is behind this monitor that you can't see. Right, the composite mod is on there. Right, let's have a see about switching things on. So you've got the 4 dip switches on the actual chip itself. One of them says number 1 has on to the right hand side, so possibly this is maybe turned off. I don't know. Let's have a look. Oh, finally we get a picture. Okay. My chair squeaking, by the way. That is actually the. Oh, I can see a few lines coming down. But finally, after all these weeks, I've actually got a picture. So let me just try something on the composite mod. Number 1's down, 2's up. So 1. Let's go 2 down. Oh. 1 up. Oh, okay. Now I can see a lot more lines on there. That is probably using the backdoor porch a lot better. Both up. That went light for no reason. Now the lines are still there, so I'm going to put 1 down. No, that's not got rid of the lines. Oh, the lines are back. Okay. It's still better than what I've been had so far. Now let's have a look at the dip switches. I need to get the instruction on this, but I'm just too excited that I've actually got a picture. Right, number 2 on. That goes a little bit darker. I think these are meant to be for the memory. I've got a standard memory on here anyway, which will be changed. 1 on and 3 on. No, can't get it. There you go. No difference. 1 on and 4 on. No difference. 2 on, because it's a little bit darker. 3 on. All on does that, but I think, like I say, I think that's to do with any memory upgrades to this. So let's leave that on. The VLA has got number 1 on, and I'm on the switcher of 1 down, 2 up on the composite mod. We have a picture. We're actually getting somewhere. Finally. Now then, back up there. Franti's here, ready for, I don't know, some sort of art project, because that doesn't work. Apparently these are very fragile anyway. So I know with the last video I was touching stuff on connecting ones to another and whatever and getting some sort of reaction. So the board did work. That's only a test for that. Yes, the Franti was gone. These happens. These things happen. Now what I've done is I've re-rigged up the original keyboard. I have a brand new one to fit in, and I'm trying to flatten it down a bit better because it is cold in here, like I say. Let's turn this on now. I'll have a power light on here. Now I have, is that lighter? Ooh, yes, there we go. I've got the K on there. Now let's see if a keyboard actually works. Let's go for an O. Poke. Oh, poke. W, E, R, T, Y, T. T, Y doesn't want to work. U, I, O, P, and those are missed. The Q, there it is. So some are missing. A, S, D, F, G. G don't work. So luckily we bought the keyboard, and then we can get that changed. K, L, new line. LS. Okay. Space, yes. LS, yes. Dot. Yeah, we know that there's probably a crack on one of the. It's these middle ones. V doesn't work, B doesn't work, C does. Shift and question mark. Oh, cool, because shift gives you a red. You don't really need any much pressing on this. It's not a programmer's keyboard at all. Yeah, it's these middle section down here that's missing, so that's going to be one of the. Actually, you really need much pressure at all. We're working, and that is actually an absolute brilliant picture. When we turned it off and got it straight to the mode, that's actually really good. I'm so happy with that. That's ridiculous. So, switch off, unplug this. I don't need the keyboard, so we'll carry on modding as we're going. Next mod, I'm so happy with that. I do have video comes in from the yellow, which is left and right is white, and the red. I do put this in the earphone socket. I'm hoping for noise to come through if we load a game up on this, and it might work. I do that with one of the Spectrums. Some of the Spectrums do work when you put the cable into the earphone and plug it to the television. It works perfectly fine. It's not too loud, not too quiet. Don't know about this one. It might not work. I know it's a one of these sort of sockets, the mono sockets, and I've just put a standard phono. It does connect. It does brush on there, so at least it should work. Let's get you finally off of there. Let's get the keyboard replaced. Now what we need to do for this, because the only thing it is, you can tell from here, it's just stuck in place. Now I don't actually give a flying monkeys about this, so I think there's a gap there. It'd be easier if there were 2 holes here. I could just push it straight out, but there is a hole there. I can potentially push out there. I just need to get something off of this. Maybe something a little sharper. A spudger. Really do need a new spudger. Probably better coming off from the bottom. Like I said, I don't really care if I destroy this or not. This is definitely broken, so I could even cut it there and just push straight back through. So while I'm doing that, take a quick break. I was about to just stop them for a second, but I think I've just gone straight through. And scratch the case as well. Great. It's really stuck on. Alright, 2 minutes, I'm gonna get this off. Now then, keyboard off, new keyboard in hand. It's cold in here at the minute. So what I've done is I've actually got this a little bit warmer, which will help stick things down a little bit better. It's just the time of year. If you're doing this in the summer or the spring, it's going to be perfectly fine. It's a little bit cold. So The only difference we've got on this is slightly, barely different graphics, if anything. It's a good copy of. Thing is copyright 1980, copyright 2014, so it's an old one. So basically what you want to do is put that through there and push that as far up as it goes, and then if you'd have remembered to take the sticky off the back of here, then it would have been fine, but I'm just showing you that just for this sake. It doesn't actually show you the 2014. That's very strange. So the only thing that worries me a little bit is it kind of pushes down into there. So maybe with the glue on there it'll be straight. Just need to get this in place properly. So let's get the back off that. So I warmed this up a little bit. It's not on fire, it's not whatever. I've got a heater under the desk and it's just because it's cold. Oh, look at that. Very interesting. Oh, I should do an ASMR video on that bit, shouldn't I? No, I'm not that silly. Seen them sort of videos. They just I don't get it. I mean, I partly do get it. I kind of, when you're watching girls, well, women, should we say, making oddball slurpy sounds and stuff while they're no, not really for me. Not really bothered either way. Well, just doesn't. It's not a video series I'll be doing soon anyway. So with this in place, it is coming down there a little bit. I don't know if that's, I assume that's perfectly normal. Doesn't need too much pressing down. It's a nice, with it being warmed, it's nicely positioned there. Just still sticky in that corner. So that's done. That's a keyboard replaced. I might keep that, actually I'll probably keep that and put that back on the top of it, to be honest. So I can maybe in the future do something with it. I don't know. Really don't know. Done. So that's a keyboard replaced. That is how simple the keyboard replacement is. Next job. Right, what we got in as pot. Right, I have a memory upgrade. Right, okay. Memory upgrade. That isn't anything. Ah, heat sinks. Okay. I bought 2 heat sinks. These are just spare parts from this. I need to keep that and to put that over there on here so you can't see the dark, because you have darkness over the back of there. These are just either spares or the screws for the case and the feet. We're actually getting along now. Really getting cracking on with it now. So what I want to do, what I bought, was 2 heat sinks. The problem with it now is one was meant to go on the Franti chip and one was meant to go on the Zilog chip. Although one won't, because that doesn't fit on that chip like that. And it would short out every single one of these legs anyway. So what I'm going to do is just isopropanol the back of here, warm that up a little bit because it's an adhesive, save that for another day. Nice little heat sinks, these. Very kind of well built. So I'm going to stick one on there anyway to try and heat sink a little. There's no point putting one there because that is a heat sink anyway. So I need to clean this a little bit. A bit of rag, a bit of isopropanol, just nothing major, just need to get rid of any dirt, grease on top of the chip to make it perfectly good to stick that to it. Good. So with this being quite cold, I'm going to warm it with my hands just a little bit. Surprised I've got warm hands today. Right. There's nothing to these, or at least it shouldn't be. Come on. It's nice having days like this where I can just actually, I'm off work today and I've just decided to do this. Glad I got all the parts for this finally. And massively over the moon that I've got the ULA working on here. Right, so try and get it as near as down on the top. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's about the right size anyway. So, done. A little bit wobble, a little bit of, yeah. And that's it, done. Just nothing too over the top with it. It will come off with a bit of force if you need to, but it will transmit the heat from that chip straight up. You can't tell this is a Zilog chip now, but you should be able to if you know what board this is. So that's done, that's done. Next job. We're really cracking on. Could have used those anyway, but I don't use surface wipes when I've got a virtually endless supply of isopropanol. Thank you very much to One Click Print. So next we have self-adhesive. Oh, there's instructions of how to do that. Okay, instructions of how to upgrade the memory. Now this will possibly be done. What is that? Have I just... Oh, I nearly lost that. Okay, that I think goes with this. Ah, yes. This is what I bought off of eBay. This is, it's technical with that. Okay, so basically we get this kit for the memory upgrade. I need to remove that chip and that chip holder. As you notice on here, you've got this yellow line, so you can put a different chip on there. This is probably a 1K chip or a half K, God knows what. There's two there anyway. So that one will be removed, and then these lines along the side will have this fitted to it. So what I need to do is desolder all of this. Figure out if I start from the bottom. I don't know, I'll figure out from the second one. These here. The point with the tweezers might make it a little easier. You come from the top here to right. Oh, getting a bit better. There you go. Right one there, all the way down to the one that's soldered up, not the one below it, because on the other side there isn't a hole below it. So there, all the way up to there, once unsoldering. Put the legs in. I think it's the short side down, but the CAD wants to go in that way. So then once I get soldering, I need to put that resistor on here, or capacitor actually. Yeah, there's a resistor and a capacitor actually. C1, R1. Okay. Oh, I was lucky. There's one there. Okay, so this is a capacitor, because you can tell that it's beige coloured. Resistor is there because it will have a number on there, and 2001 I think it says. So capacitor wants soldering onto there, resistor wants soldering onto there. I don't know about these three lines yet, but I need to get these on and done. Do I need to go that way around, or do I need to go that way around? No, I think downwards. We'll keep the curves on the top. So I'm going to fit these in place on the board after I remove that chip. This is going to be a quick jump for you guys, so I can be done and on with the memory. Then I need to solder this chip onto that board, but I'll do that while it's in here and it's solid and I've got more of a base to actually do stuff with, and then go through the instructions. Pick socket strip. What's the A11, A12, A13. Solder the other end of the A13 cable to the cathode D1. Ah, D3, D5. Okay, so cathode D. I will find it on the board. I know I will. Resistors. Please tell me it wasn't down to me putting that in the way. D9. Okay, so we have places on the board. D1 need D1, 3 and 5. Please tell me it's not those, because they're all D's. Okay, we'll find this out. When you come back, that chip will be out, this will be on, and we'll be starting the memory upgrade from 1K up to, I think this is actually a 64K. I'm not 100%. It may just be a 32, but this puts memory way beyond what you would. Well, there was the memory pack on the back, but I don't want that. There's the problem with the wobble, the RAM pack wobble, as I have been, informed what they used to call it. Because basically, it used to be said your RAM pack was on the back, and you tap, and it would wobble, so it would lose the connection on here. So this is a more permanent solution to put this in. So. Come back in a few minutes, I'll have this done. So So far so good. The chips are out. Both chips came out pretty easy because they're already socketed. One socket didn't go too well. The other one went absolutely perfect. So, you know, we have these things. Right, the standoffs are in place and soldered quite nicely on here. I didn't need to take this other socket off of here, but I did. So, hey-ho. Right, so the standoffs are in. What I've done is put these in and just tack soldered a little bit of on probably either side or a couple of these, doesn't matter. Put this on the right way because you've got the little notch at the top there just to simulate what is the right way around. Put it in place, heated this up a little bit and just wobble this a little bit, try and get it straight so this would fit in, because one of these was straight, one of these came inwards a little bit, so one side would go in fine, the other side wouldn't. But just heat up the solder a little bit so it just drops in place fine, because that is perfect, because it drops straight off, so I know that everything's in line. So all I need to do now, put it on, solder this in place in the right bit, there we go. All in place on there. Solder all along these parts. I need to put the resistor on, the capacitor on, and then figure out where. I think there's actually LK1, LK2 I need to do as well on the side. But we'll get through to that in a moment anyway, because all the full instructions are here. It did say desolder the old RAM chips. So I wasn't certain whether you just need to do that one or both, but I took both off. You probably can't fit this on there with the second one on, but socket was over the top doing anyway, so I have done what they do. It's fine. So we're going to get on with this. I'm not looking forward to those two. Nice, I'm not looking forward to this either. This is kind of my limit of soldering, but I should be fine. Bit of flux and everything should be fine with it. So I'm going to solder these on in place. It's not looking bad actually, it's looking quite upgraded, to be honest, from the original stock. So this is a big project to do, but it's nice. It's actually working that we can actually do this. Quick update. The board's on. There are 3 wires that you have to put on here. I've gone all patriotic and whatever, I've got my red, white and blue. You have to do these. It is awkward having this the keyboard ribbon cable being there, because underneath you can see D's. Yes, these are D's. These are D1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, and they are diodes. You need to solder a wire from this part here to diode 1, which is there. Not resistor, a diode. But it does say you can barely see diode 1, 2. You can. If you took this off, you'd probably see it, but these are diodes 1, 2, 3, yeah. So diode 1 has this part over here, diode 3 has this one here, and diode 5 has this one here, so red, white, blue. All says in the instructions right there, okay? So it's on, it's doing, it's fine, it is looking good so far. These are all soldered on. The other thing I'm going to do now is put the resistor in. Resistors don't matter which way around you go. The capacitors do. But I don't think this does. I don't think the actual... yeah. I don't think there is a positive and negative on the capacitor. But we'll find that out in a second. So the 10K resistor, which is meant to be here, which I hope this is 10K. It does say 1002. There is no 1002 on there, but test the memory. That's a good thing to know when we actually get round to doing this. Is that they put the peak code in there, print peak. Okay. So I'll have a quick one more scan of the instructions before I continue, and then we should be in a position of, I'm going to try actually with this part, it's trying to put the resistor on, trying to put the capacitor on, and try to put the memory on board on here. These are at least far enough out of the way to not be it would have been better to actually probably put the chip in place beforehand. I do hope that this chip has a dot in the corner, I think, so it should go like that. Yeah, with the dot on the top, I assume. But there's a video that Dr. A did at the back office show. He did a little bit similar but very different. Basically used a chip, didn't use one of these kits. But these are, he got the chip out, and I think he bent this leg and I think 2 others. This is exactly the same as, if you look at the actual running of this goes all the way up to this first pin here, which is exactly the same as that pin there, which is the same as that pin there. Done. It's exactly the same, but it's just technically a little easier. It's just a bit more fiddlier. He's got wires and stuff, which was easy enough to do, I suppose, for a person of his level, and he's a way better solderer than I am. I'm pretty much competent, I think. So, right, we're going to get on with this. Resistor, capacitor, chip on, and then we can hopefully get this thing finally finished. Now, we've actually got a little bit further with this. We're ready to test. Now, the chip is in place, the board is in place, everything's fine, everything's done, everything's happy. It's more of a mod than I was planning, to be honest. I was actually just wanting to look at this and then maybe do a memory upgrade originally, but that's fine. We're all on this. We've got an all-in-one system, new ULA, new memory, new keyboard, refurbished as best as we can to bring it into the 21st century, or at least somehow, at least anyway. So my soldering is done, so I can put that away. And, well, yeah, it's as it is. It looks pretty good. Chip's in place. It's as it is. The ULA, it fits exactly where I wanted it to. And everything seems perfectly fine, happy, and everything's great. So, what I need to do is test. Now, according to the instructions manual, it needs to test the memory expansion, run the following command, which is print, peak, one. Yeah, it's all there anyway. If you get one of these off eBay, it should be with the instructions anyway. There was a jumper on here I need to do as well, which basically putting wire between 2 connections on there for LK2. To give it better memory, I think. I am assuming everything's fine on here anyway. No guarantees. There's no guarantee that I'm going to get more than 1K on this anyway. But anything better than that is a result, should we say. The jumpers, I figured out that on the jumpers on the VLA81, the mod on-off of the top one, of these 4 here, you can get it a little bit better there. The first one is on-off. DP is the display, the one that the actual mod on here is taking over anyway. The 3rd and the 4th are to do with the memory. So configuring one on, one off, both on, both off, but just play, configure, it probably does tell you on here anyway. Or when you get from ZX Renew, exactly what it wants to do. So, plus also you have to make sure these 3 wires are off the board that go down to the board down here. So everything's fine, everything's perfect. Right, so what I want to do at the moment is set you up, also the camera up, over there so it can see me and the screen, and test this, whether this works perfectly or not. So, ZX81's on the bench, ready to start testing the memory, make sure this actually works. Now, TV's tuned in. That's all ready. There's a few little pokes, peaks, whatever else I need to put into this to check the memory. So let's test by power supply is over here, this socket, and on we go. We have a K. We have a K, and that's a pretty good picture. Oh, sorry, I thought there was something on the screen, but why would you have a pixel that small on a ZX81? So what it asks you to do is the following. If you can see the screen from over there, you'll probably be able to, I'm sure. Right, is press print, and I have to figure out how to use the ZX81 keyboard, which you have the shift, which then gives you the first line, the top line on each one of the keys. ZX Spectrums are a little bit easier, but then you have to go shift and function, which is your new line button, to make the L turn to an F, which then I can put peak in, which peak is on the O. Bear with me. So 16388, then a plus, which is shift and K, then 256. A little bit of interference on the screen, that's fine. I'm not after perfection. Then star, which is shift and B, peak, which then I do shift and new line and O for the peak, and then I go for 1, 6, 3, 8, 9, and then new line, which is on the bottom, you can't see it, I know, comes up with 26626, which according to this I'm supposed to get a 32768, which I think is 32k. I know, but this looks like it's giving me 26.5k, which is more than enough for what the actual Spectrum, well sorry, the ZX81 actually needs. Most games run on 16k or 1k. I mean, 1k is you can't really describe exactly what 1k is from a nowadays 21st century standpoint, because 1k is nothing. It's not even an app. I mean, I bet you this keyboard here has more than 1k to actually just process and do what it wants to do. I mean, 1k you could probably put underneath one of your fingernails or whatever, but it is running at least 26k. So that's fine, that's okay, that's fine for me. I have got no games for this. I've got no extra little plug-in on the back of it. On the ZX Spectrums I've got tons of stuff like that for it. But at the minute, it seems to work fine. I mean, I think I do have one game, but rigging up to test for a game would be an absolute nightmare. But the mod for the memory is just a case of, it's the non-wobbly, but basically means, was told by a friend that it was, you put the memory card in the back, you start tapping this, it will move. I can't understand how it would move when they got these two clamps, which on each one of the ribbon, well, on the back of the circuit board, would clamp onto the top and the bottom, and then it would loosen, but it would come off, which wouldn't give you a better connection to the memory. It just seems odd that it worked out that way, but it did. You can't deny history. You can't deny what people went through back in the day. So yes, it's a more permanent mod and what you can get, which looks a lot neater than maybe just sticking a chip in there and hoping to God. But we've got lots of things in there, so it is actually fully working as far as I want. But if you want to go a lot further than this, off you go. Try and put 512k worth of memory in there. It might not be showing me 32k for the simple reason it might not be the right chip. Simple as. There are plenty of these chips that you can get with these kits online. Might not be perfect. It's spot on for what I need. So with this in mind, that's still running. I can still do a little bit of testing with the little switches on the ULA and on the composite mod. I can change a few different bits and bats on there, but I'm going to leave it as is because that's fine for me. Try it yourself, have another go. So let me get you back on the shelf, get the camera back on the shelf at least anyway, and we'll get this fully put back together, and that's finally end of project. Now you've caught me nearly at the end. Everything's done, screwed back in place. There were two screws that hold the board. If you watch the first video, which I just have done, two screws that hold the board to this side, the actual keyboard side, two of the silver screws, and then two of the silver screws go in there, and then another three goes 1, 2, and 3 are the black ones. So I'm just putting my feet back in place. Nothing major. Double-sided tape, don't need anything more than that. If you want to do super glue, off you go, it's yours. I'm not, I'm putting double-sided tape on because I might want to one day go back inside here. I'm done. Remember from the very first part, we didn't take this one off because there is nothing behind here. There's no point in taking it off, that's nicely in place. So there, perfect. ZX81 double-sided tape. ZX81 done, upgraded. Now let me just go back what we've done in this little series, apart from it's been flat panic, don't know what to do, done other things, yada yada. We've completely rehauled the power supply. It doesn't do 9 volts like it's supposed to do, it does a lot more, but inside here, the voltage regulator, the capacitors, the composite mod, so I can now use it on a normal television, which looks nearly nice there, to be honest. In, done, happy, done. The VLA81, because that was what was wrong with this. The ULA was fried. They are notorious, apparently. So if you've got one and it doesn't have a picture, it will be that. You can buy replacements. They are just hard to come by. There's a guy in New Zealand which does make these, which is great. Brilliant. Thank you very much for your efforts and your time and your skill in doing this. It's a pain in the backside getting to the UK. That's why I buy them from ZX81 New. It's great that people out there are keeping these alive. Not just me doing these by refurbing and showing you how to fix them a little bit. And it's not really been fault diagnosis. It's been pure luck, really, that I got the right part for the right thing. But it's a lot of other people behind the scenes making the keyboard. That was another replacement. Making the composite mod. Making the VLA. Or the ULA, the EXV, ULA, yeah, 81. Making all these parts, even the memory upgrade they did in here as well. That, it just absolutely amazes me that people do this. I just love to put them together and make sure I've got a system that's going to be running for the next, I don't know, 50 years at least. And then, yeah, and then maybe more. Probably outlive me anyway, at least. So other than that, on that really happy note with a working ZX81, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please follow me on social media. Send me a message on the comments if you want to help out the channel. If you've got one of these that's broken and you want me to fix it, or if there's a ULA on that one, I'm not bothered. Don't keep it. You know, I don't care, because these are a pain in the backside. They should be absolutely fine to fix. There shouldn't be much to do with these. Everything on there could have stayed as it was. The memory could have stayed, the capacitors could have stayed, the voltage regulator, the keyboard didn't work in the middle, but that worked perfectly fine, because it was a 6 and the 5 wasn't working. I wouldn't be able to put that poke in, so that wouldn't have worked right, or the peak, should I say. Pokes on the top. As I don't know how you get the top line. Is it shift function? Oh no, I don't know. Unless it's shift new line, it gives another line. Okay, that might be better, because shift will give the red ones, as the shift new line gave the bottom line. Maybe new line will give that one a lot again. I don't know. But yeah, if you want to help out being a Patreon and you get your name on the scroll, then please get in touch. All the links are in the description. They're in the channel description as well. Get in touch. Just you know, help the channel out however way you can. That in mind, thanks very much for watching. Bye for now. Not doing that again.